Hi, I'm Dave Worzel, and you're watching PHTV4. This is Police Update, and today we have a special guest with us, Palos Heights Police Officer Cynthia Sepulveda.
Yep.
Officer Sepulveda, thank you for coming in this morning. We're going to get to meet Cynthia, who is a relatively new officer on the force, even though not new to law enforcement. And then we're also going to talk about scams that are targeting people out there, some specific to the holidays, some that are year-round type of thing, and some relatively new. First, Officer Sepulveda, if I can ask, we're going to talk about scams, but maybe we'd like to get to know you a little bit first.
Okay.
All right. How long have you been on the force first?
I've been on the force for about 2 years and a half.
Okay. In Palos Heights?
No, not in Palos Heights. Palos Heights have been here for about 10 months, going on a year.
Okay. So you've been in law enforcement for a little bit, and more recently with us, just under a year now. How did you get started in law enforcement?
I would say it all started off when I started going to college. I knew I wanted to do something in law enforcement. I started off taking the basics, and I knew I wanted to navigate something in detective work. And then as I went on in college, I kind of figured that I needed to know the basics first, and that's how I got into law enforcement. I started taking tests, and that's when I got into law enforcement.
Okay. So it sounds like you're hinting at that you knew something in law enforcement. And right now, your job as an officer, and I want to ask you about that, but before we do that, do you see moving into another part of law enforcement at some point?
I definitely do. I see myself navigating into the detective work, evidence technician, anything. I'm always motivated by a challenge.
Okay, all right,
I do
well,
see
good,
myself.
good. I hope you get a chance to pursue that then. Let me ask about, like, you right now you're on days,
Yeah.
right, which is a 6 a.m. to 6 p.m.?
That's correct.
12-hour shift. And maybe this is not a good question. Like, what is a typical day, if there is a typical day? What does that look like for you on a day shift?
A typical day during the day shift would be, we start our shift at 6, and we typically have roll call, and that's where we usually debrief, ask any questions to our sergeant, communicate what's on the agenda for the day, and after that we go patrol the streets, and after that we answer any calls.
Okay. That first part, I was distracted. It almost reminded me of what I've seen on TV, where they show all the officers in a room and they're talking about what's going on and what to watch out for, and then they're like, okay, be safe, and everybody heads out. It's a little bit like that?
It's a little bit like that. That's where we check our emails. Like I said, we're all together at that time, so we're discussing what's on the agenda for the day, and if we need to debrief about anything, that's where it usually
Specifically
happens.
ongoing?
Exactly.
Okay. You're on day shifts. I want to ask about night shift, and do you have court duty too? Do you also have to make court appearances?
Yeah, we do. It all depends on what case you have. It's typically once a month.
Okay. All right, so the day shift, you gave us kind of the routine of the day shift. How different is that, or is it very much similar to a night shift?
A night shift is typically different just because a lot of businesses are closed. We prioritize doing business checks, making sure everything's good.
Okay, so it sounds like there's more patrolling to make sure everything's okay as compared to the day you're actually getting more calls to actually go check something. Is that accurate?
That is right. During the day, there's a few different things. We have people that come in the station to report something. There's a lot more traffic. We answer different calls. There's dog calls sometimes. We're chasing over like a loose dog. Every day is a new day.
Right, okay. So let's turn away from your job a little bit. Can we get to know the other side of you? The
Sure.
person who's not in uniform all the time?
Sure.
All right. How about when you were little, when you were in grade school? What did you want to be when you grew up?
When I was little, I did want to be a teacher.
Oh, really?
Or a photographer. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, law enforcement was not part of your picture at little Cynthia.
Yeah, you know what? No, I don't think. I did want to be a teacher. I do have a passion for helping others, and I knew, I still do. I still do. I wouldn't mind teaching.
So there is that connection. I mean, part of law enforcement for you was another way to help people?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, how about when you go on vacation? All right, I hope you get them. I hope you've had, some while you've been in Palos Heights. But when you go on vacation or you need to recharge, what do you do, or where do you go?
Vacation for me would be, I'm a very active person, so I would take a couple days just laying on the beach, being a beach bum, but then after that I do like taking hikes, being very active, exploring the culture.
Okay, so you've got both parts of it going. You'll sit on the beach. You'll have that rest time, but you're also going to go out and, I mean, a hike can be restful, but not restful like beach sitting.
Exactly.
Okay. How about this? And maybe, well, I'll come back to. Let me ask you now, though, as long as we're on it. If you could go for a hike anywhere, like to use that, or let's do the beach one. What would be the ideal beach to, like, just camp out on, or where would be the ideal place to go for a hike?
My ideal place, I want to go to Peru and do Machu Picchu.
Wow.
So that's really...
That's a real hike.
Yeah, that's on my bucket list.
Okay.
That's
Can you combine that with the beach experience where you carry a chair up there and then you just kind of camp out and sit there?
That would be probably after I do Machu Picchu the next day to relax.
Yeah, yes, I'm sure.
After the big
Okay.
day.
All right. Boy, that does sound like a great hike. I hope you get that chance. That would be really amazing. All right, how about this? As an officer, and sometimes you're invited to the community and to speak or address somebody. How about, let's pretend you've been invited to speak at a high school, and you're going to talk to high school students who are thinking about a career in law enforcement. What advice or what would you tell them?
I would tell them to definitely prioritize developing communication skills, learn about diverse communities, prioritize physical health.
Okay. Good advice, every part of that, communication, diverse communities, and take care of yourself, right, physically and mentally. What about, let's jump ahead a little bit. Now, you said you've been an officer for over a couple of years now. How about somebody just gets hired into the force? What advice would you give that rookie officer who has never been a police officer before?
I would also recommend developing communication skills, ask questions, look for guidance, and most importantly, be an active listener.
Okay, the importance of being a good listener. And interesting, take advice, right? There are people around you who've probably got a lot of experience.
Oh, yeah,
Tap
definitely.
into it, right? Okay. How about this one? We're going to assume that being an officer in Palos Heights is your dream job, but if it wasn't, if you couldn't be an officer, so now law enforcement now, what would the other fantasy dream job be?
I would probably say athletic recruiter.
Really?
Or a travel tour guide.
Wow. Wow. I didn't see either of those coming. I thought you were going to do the nature thing like the hiking or, you know,
I guess
a national park. I threw a third one at you.
Yeah, the travel tour guide could probably be, it would be nice to go to different countries and be, you know, a tour guide for a couple weeks and go to another country and be another.
All right. Well, hopefully you have a long career as an officer, but if you get a side gig going, maybe one of those other options will show up for you. All right. How about let's take a serious turn now, okay? Unfortunately, the dollars and number of people who have been victimized by scams is, you know, in my mind personally, it's kind of horrifying. The numbers are so big. And to kind of lead up as an intro into this, the organization AARP did a survey, and they had found that 78% of U.S. consumers, which to me is a huge number, have been targeted by frauds or scams in the holidays, okay? I'm going to give you from an FBI report in 2023 on internet crime, said that personal data breaches, like, and we've heard of these. I feel like I get a couple letters a year that says, you know, your data's been breached. You know, they offer protection service of some kind. Have cost people $744.2 million. All right, so yeah, a lot of money. We're on our way to $1 billion. And then it kind of breaks down. These are all related to internet crimes. $309.6 million for non-payment or non-delivery. So people thought they were getting something or thought something was going to be delivered, but it was a scam. Credit card check fraud, $173.6 million. Identity theft, and I think we're all familiar that's kind of the other scare out there, that they're going to get your information, Social Security or driver's license or both, and use your identity in some way to rob or steal. $126.2 million in identity theft costs. Now, specifically to Illinois, I'll give you a couple more numbers. We can talk about why it's so important to be careful in these areas. Illinois citizens have lost $335.8 million just to internet crime, all right? And related to that, over 15,783 people from Illinois have also reported being victimized by internet crime in 2023. So those are internet crimes. It's a kind of a big umbrella because it could include, you know, like the email thing, any type of crime that takes place over the internet. Can we talk about what some of those are to give people a heads up? And I want to ask you, and then maybe you can explain, like, and I feel like I get them all the time, like an Amazon text alert, right? Or, you know, an email, Amazon wants to get some information. Can you talk about what that scam is or what it looks like?
Yeah, what I've been seeing is you get a text, which would be like an Amazon package. If you have not ordered anything or a family member, just make sure you check that, you ask questions before clicking on that link. If you have not ordered anything, of course, I would say don't click on the link. And the same thing goes if you get another link that says that a package has been delivered. If you're not expecting anything, don't click on the link.
It's tricky to keep track of during the holidays because we're buying gifts and we probably are ordering online, so we're expecting like, oh, did I order something or did I not? I know related to that, the other one is they like want to update my account information or something, right? And so, go ahead.
Yeah, for that I would say if you do get a text or an email regarding updating your account, I would say to first verify that. What you could do is call the company directly, whether it's Amazon, call them and ask them if they sent anything out to yourself.
Okay. Yeah, if you're at all sure, I would imagine like pump the brakes. You don't click on anything.
Yeah,
If you have any question, just like you said, you know, do I have a package coming or not? You don't remember. I thought I did. All right, wait a minute. If you're not sure, let's verify before we open or click on anything.
Yeah, just take a little bit of time to verify. Make a phone call.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And we're talking about Amazon, but it can be any delivery service. I mean, it could be FedEx, I'm assuming.
FedEx,
or,
UPS, I've seen.
Okay. How about another type of scam that I'm not as familiar with, but I've heard about the employment scam, like somebody's offering you a job. They need, you know, typically we think of seasonal help at certain times of year, whether around the holidays or summer. Can you explain what the employment scam is?
The employment scam, what I have seen, it's they offer you a job and then they request that you need to send them a check for a laptop that they're going to reimburse you. So typically the person will send the money and then they're thinking that they're going to get reimbursed, but the whole time it's not legit. So I would say to first verify any job employment before you send any money.
So they're offering you a job, but to give you this job, they say you're going to need some equipment first, and they want you to purchase that equipment up front.
Exactly. Or if you send the money first, so they could get a laptop for you, and then after you have, let's say, 4 or 6 weeks on the job, they'll reimburse you the money.
Okay. And then the other, and now maybe related, if you can speak, I feel like I've also heard of, related to the employment scam, where somebody they'll offer you a job. Typically the benefits or pay will look so good that you can't take a pass on it. It's like, yeah. And then there will be some type of, maybe it's an application fee, some other type of charge related to it. And you'd mentioned like a laptop. It could be any equipment, I'm guessing, correct?
Exactly.
Yeah, okay. So if the job looks too good or they want something up front, again, let's slow down and check this out.
Slow down, take a day. Try to verify. Make phone calls. Ask questions.
Ask questions. I'm going to guess that, and probably they could even call the police department. And if you heard of this type of contact, and the police can even advise in that situation. Yeah,
definitely. We have had people come in the station and ask, have you seen this type of employment before? And if we have, we tell them, and if we haven't, we tell them.
Yeah. How about this one bothers me personally tremendously because I feel like it's really preying on the goodwill of people, the request for donations. Can you talk about the phony request thing?
That is a big one, especially in the holidays. I would say that the same thing, ask questions. If it's a certain charity company, I would advise to give them first a phone call before sending any money.
Okay, so if it's one you're not familiar with, and there are so many out there, it would be easy to not be familiar with all of them.
Exactly.
Right? And they're preying on that, yeah, hey, you know, people want to help out when they need, you know, if somebody needs help or, you know, this sounds like a worthwhile cause, but is it legitimate or not? I know the one website, because I had this question before where I'd gotten a thing and I talked, is there a way to verify this? I know a website you can check out is charitynavigator.com, and they'll rank the charities, how much of their money goes to administrative costs versus actual donations and things like that. But again, you know, if somebody calls me or shoots me a text saying the police department is doing a money thing, at that point, if I'm not sure it's actually the Palos Heights Police Department,
They could always call. Always
Okay.
call. If it's a charity company they're not unfamiliar with, just look it up on Google.
Okay.
If I find the phone number, always ask questions.
Yeah, okay. Slow down, ask questions. You don't need to do anything in that immediate minute if you don't remember. It's a good list. I mean, we've talked about several here. The fake contact coming from Amazon or some other distribution or, you know, commercial thing. Related to that would be any, I feel like we get them all the time, the businesses that say, hey, you know, we have a free thing for you, but you need to do this for us first or send us this money.
That should always be a red flag.
Yeah, yeah. How many free offers are there out there? Right?
Exactly.
Slow down, don't click. Please take Officer Cynthia Sepulveda's advice. Don't click, slow down, make phone calls, verify, right?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much. All right. I know you have your 1-year anniversary coming up in Palos Heights in a couple months. All right. Enjoy. Welcome to Palos Heights.
Thank you.
Glad to have you here. All right. Thank you for coming in today.
Thank you.
I'm Dave Worsley, and you've been watching PHTV for our police update. We've been talking with Palos Heights Police Officer Cynthia Sepulveda. Thank you for watching, and be safe.